lady 747. Girl. One, two, three, first. I'm sorry, y'all. What's going on, everybody? Yes, we're gonna talk about it. I was working behind the scenes. Okay, Miss a lady 1174. Y'all are so funny when y'all talk about me in these comments. Where's Fran? Is she eating tonight? Where's Fran? It's cute. Get it. Aw, you guys are so sweet. And yes, I was working. I was for y'all. Okay, that's what I was doing. Going on DMV with this. Where's the lady? Lady 747. Yes, ma'am. The real VB. What's going on with this? Nick. Hey, boo. What's going on, Houston Foodie? How are you, hon? Hey, Coco. What's good, Renee? Wonder Woman. Okay, period. Hey, Wonder Woman. She's an introvert. Okay, we're going to talk about what's going on. Obviously, I mean, Miss Janice did not disappoint. Miss Janice's wig showed up today, baby. Miss Janice stepped out that bus, and baby, all I saw was blonde curly hair. Okay, let's get into what needs to be seen. We already know what we're here for. We're here for the arrivals. And baby, we need to talk about it. The Combs and them showed up in the party bus and the Diddy mobile, and baby, they, I mean, we're gonna see how the fashions progress over the week, but they pulled up, of course, Quincy gets out first. Well, maybe that's Chance's mother. Hold on, let's see what's good here. How's everybody doing? I'm not trying to be rude. I was trying to say hi to everybody. If I missed you personally, baby, you already know. Um, blame it on anything else other than my heart, because I love y'all. Okay. I love y'all. Period. Okay, let's get into it. Diddy's jury was selected today. I am working on getting, I don't like to tell too much, but we're gonna do our bougie gang style of coverage, okay, because everyone does like things their way, right? So that's all, and I'll talk more about it a little bit later as soon as I finish handling some business and getting us what we need, okay, what bougie gang needs. And I have that information because really, I mean, this is really what the news is. Why are Janice's wigs always disheveled? Would you like to call in and have this conversation? I'm going to drop the link, okay? Let's see what's going on here. Let's do a run through and then we will do adequate. And then the funny thing is, I was watching some coverage of somebody on CBS and then I could see Dennis in the background. And then, Dennis is live. I shared his link. So definitely go support our our section of the YouTube streets is out there. Okay. So, the defense opening statement was crazy. The defense's opening statement was crazy. Well, we'll go look at it because I know they are live tweeting. There's a couple people live tweeting, so let's go look at that in a little bit. Let's see what's going. Dennis is working. Period. Dennis is working. So let's give him much respect, right? Absolutely. And like I said, I shared the link to his live this morning. And then I know he was live not too long ago. Janice's wig showed up 1, 2, 3 first. Okay. You guys are funny. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go. Baby. Okay, I think that's Chance's mother right there, right? That's Miss Chance's mother. I don't know. I would like to see a picture of this lady in her party days back when she was messing with Diddy. I want to know, because ma'am is giving very serious corporate mom. You know what I'm saying? She's giving, girl, you were dealing with Diddy like that? I just want to go back 18, 19 years when she was dealing with that man. I need to see what Chance's mom was doing, cuz Diddy, he got his own, he got a whole lot going on. Uh I haven't even seen her, and I wasn't looking either. I'm just saying Dennis was live, he was in my feed. I clicked in, I supported, I watched, I hit the thumbs up, and I also kept social media social by sharing. Anything else, baby, if I don't know you, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know her. I don't know her like that. I'm, you know what I'm saying? We sometimes I creep over there a couple little times a week just to see what's going on with Ponytail. But this situation with Diddy, since you know what I'm saying, this is more of like a serious situation, girl. I don't know what to say. All right, let's see. Whew, I don't know what she's doing. She might be over there at her mom's house for all we know. You know what I'm saying? Have you guys seen her outside? I know. Look, I've seen Dennis. Let me say this also. I've seen Dennis go live, and I see other people live, and I've seen Dennis in the background. How about that? Okay. So Dennis is absolutely working. Working. Okay. Okay, there's Quincy, Justin, girl, King Combs, okay. There's Diddy Jr., okay. You act just like him. Kim Porter's kids. Okay, one, two. Okay, the twins. There's Chance with the red hair. The twins have on matching suits. Okay. Baby Love is not there. Okay. Baby Love is not there. That Diddy Jr., Justin, Quincy, the twins, Chance, mom got off. Pop Pop is there. Pop Pop is there with his twin set on and his cane. I don't know who is the other lady with the okay, everybody's there. Okay. Everyone is said, I'm bring wear your classic flaps. We're all doing classic black flaps today. Okay. If you know, you know. And Janice arrived. Janice said, I'm not taking the bus. I need a black. Bring me in one of the SUVs, please. Yeah, Chance. Oh, they picked up Janice. She said, ooh, you strong and muscular. Just like I like it. Thank you. Girl, she got into that little lift. She said, "Ooh, yes. Yes, lift me. Yes. Yes, Mama Combs. Baby." Mama Combs said, "Don't play. Do not play with her." Blouse is pretty. It's giving like Versace. Look at her. Okay, she's like, "Get out my way." Excuse me. Can we just is there a way to just be at the door? If I blink my eyes twice, will we be at the door or do I actually have to walk? Oh my god. Okay. Hold me tight. Okay, don't stay close, stay close, stay close.
How is your son?
Okay. She said, "Lift me up. Lift me up." Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yes. Strong. Thank you. Okay, Diddy's mom, she got there safely. She got lifted out the truck. Girl, fresh from a Botox appointment. You cannot tell me that Janice did not pick that wig up off the floor and just threw it on. She didn't have the way she wears her wigs, they do not have to be laid or anything. Is that Gloria out where? Girl. You know, Gloria Allred's daughter, Bloom, Lisa Bloom, baby, she is mom 2.0, baby. She didn't even shake. Okay, let's go. We'll watch it one more time. Family Combs arrives. Baby.
How's your father?
How's your father? How's your father feeling today? He feels like shit. He's been in jail for 4 or 5 months. What do you think how do you think he feels? He did interview Lisa Bloom? Good. Okay. I have to go check it out. Oh, Glory. I see her right there. Okay. Yes, baby. Ma'am, would you stand away, please? Gloria, could you go sit down? Gloria, you've had plenty to say. Don't even at this moment. The Combses are not playing with you, Gloria. I see her. Girl, Gloria's right there. Little short Gloria. Gloria, go sit down, baby. Ooh, she said, ooh, I like when you pick me up. Did he kiss her? Did he kiss her? It was giving she was enjoying that. Okay. All right, let's go and see what they had to say. Girl, Gloria already needs to go sit down because she's not a friend of the Combs family right there. She is not a friend of the Combses and them. Okay. She's not a friend to the Combs. She's had plenty to say about their father. Girl, when I saw this picture today, I'm only gonna flash it because baby is girl. When I saw this picture today, I was like, Diddy, these parties, that's what got you in trouble. Okay. Clearly it's a white party, and then you see some shenanigans going on right here, baby. That's bad. Okay. The other picture was the what we saw, CNN hotel room, that okay. And it's the courtroom artist for me. I'm definitely here for the courtroom artistry pictures. Those are very interesting. So I'm here for that. Baby, those freak off pictures are a fool. Okay. The freak off pictures, baby. And there might be more. You never know. I'm sure people, I don't know. Word is that they used to make people turn in their phones and things like that, but I'm sure there's going to be a mother load of things, okay? Okay, let me go to this other story that I saw. Hold on. We will not be showing that. Hold on. Is this another? I hadn't seen this one, but you see, who's this? I feel like we saw all of this. Okay, hold on a second. So this is them. This is just another view of them all getting off the bus. But hold on a second. Allegedly, Ye caught disfiguring diseases at FO. What's FO? Allegedly, Ye caught disfiguring diseases at a freak off. He caught a disfiguring disease. Like what? A disfiguring disease. What disease like leprosy or something? Yeah, FO, I know is freak off. I got that. If we don't know one thing, we know that FO, girl, that's freak off. Okay? That's now cemented into our language is the damn freak off. Okay? Let me see. Is this it? This I feel like was not it. Okay, let's look at this. This is one. Hold on. This is funny because you can kind of see Dennis in the background. Dennis has on like a three-piece suit. He's got on a vest. So you can see in the background a man standing with some gray, and I just assume that's Dennis. It was giving like, wait a second, is that Dennis? You guys tell me. Let's see.
Of the year officially underway in New York City. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs facing life in prison on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The National News Desk's Jeff Harris is live for us in New York City. Jeff, good morning to you. Over the weekend we had...
You see the guy right there with the vest and the ball head? Tell me that's not Dennis.
Quite a few developments emerging in this case, and I understand
black
Diddy's
shirt. That's
family
what
was
Dennis has on
spotted
today, I
heading
think.
inside. Who did you see?
Good morning to
Isn't
you,
that
Jan.
funny?
So just about 5 minutes before court was expected to start, right around 8:30 this morning, right around 8:25, Diddy's kids coming out of a black shuttle, all 5 of them entering the courthouse. I ran over, with my phone, able to capture that on video. All 5 of them holding hands, locking hands, heading into the courthouse. And I am told on the inside, they're sitting in the second row behind their father. Diddy actually entering court a little bit late this morning after 9 o'clock or just before 9 o'clock. So 8:30, jury selection, the end of jury selection, supposed to get underway. That has since been delayed for about a half hour now. Court getting underway here shortly. Now, on Friday, jury selection was supposed to wrap up, 12 jurors and 6 alternates being selected, but the judge ultimately deciding that he wanted to push that through the weekend over to Monday. The reasoning, there was some concern growing that some of the potential jurors might want to bow out due to the high profileness of this case. Some might get cold feet. So the judge ultimately decided to give them the weekend, have them come back, and then we will wrap this up on Monday morning. So court now getting underway about a half hour late to wrap up jury selection. Again, 12 being selected and 6 alternates. Now, initially in this case, 4 victims were said to be testifying, including Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who was seen in that disturbing hotel surveillance video that CNN obtained from 2016, being assaulted in that video by Diddy. Now, she is expected to be one of the 4 victims that are supposed to testify. But late last week on Friday, prosecutors, they also added a 5th victim to their witness list, being identified as victim number 5. The judge allowing this victim to testify, but as of this morning, her identity still unknown. Also late on Friday before the weekend, Diddy's lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, revealing part of the defense's strategy a little bit. He's saying that they're going to claim that the music mogul and Ventura, his ex-girlfriend, engaged in mutual violence throughout the relationship and that the sex was consensual. Diddy will reportedly admit to domestic violence as well, Jan, claiming that he is innocent of sex trafficking and racketeering. All 5 of Diddy's kids, as I mentioned, inside in that second row behind their father, also being told as Diddy entered the courtroom, Jan, that he actually blew a kiss to his kids.
Yeah, and Jeff, over the weekend, reports surfaced that one of the victims scheduled to testify against Diddy had just disappeared. Are there any updates on that?
As of this morning, that victim, at least in the indictment, was being identified as victim number 3. Again, as of this morning, no updates on that. The prosecution trying to get in touch with her attorney, also, of course, the victim as well. But throughout the weekend and now, at least as of 9:10 this morning, still no updates on that missing victim. One has been added, victim number 5, still expected to hear testimony from 4 victims, but now that 3rd being identified as victim number 3 in the indictment, still missing this morning.
All right, Jeff Harris reporting live for us from New York City.
Thanks for watching. Here's another story you may.
Okay. Okay, victim 3, Skip Town. Yeah, but what does Skip Town mean in 2025? Skip Town is like you can be on a plane and be anywhere in minutes. You know what I mean? Like, what is Skip Town? You know what I mean? Like ma'am, we need you back, right? Someone said the opening, I didn't get to read it yet. The opening, let me see, the opening statements. Where did you guys now I'm on Inner City Press. I have not even gone over here yet to see like what was going on. Is this where you guys read it? I do see he's noting some okay, U.S. attorney, he beat her when okay, let's see. Let's see when it starts. Sean Combs lawyer challenged. Okay, U.S. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm in the right thread or not. Let's see. Okay, the jurors are seated at 10:17 a.m. Questions are not evidence, so they're going through the rules. A witness uses a pseudonym does not mean, okay. This is Sean Combs to the public. He's a cultural icon. I wonder if I have the whole thread. I wonder who that was. I just wonder, Skip Town like Sonia with her RV. But I mean, you can reach out to someone and tell them, you can send them an email and state we need you to come back, right? Like, isn't that 2025? Like, I don't understand. Let's see. Okay. They can't locate her. So she's just gone. She's wherever she's at, she's unavailable. Initially, they were saying the victim was no longer in contact with them. Yeah, we read an article about that maybe Friday or Saturday that she was like whoever victim 3 is, they're out. But little Rod was outside today. I don't know if he got into the courtroom or not. Yeah, but victim 3, but they still have victim, obviously Cassie number 2 and number 4. There's supposed to be a victim number 4. When he said to have a freak off. Okay, so let me just figure out how this thread starts and then we can read through some of this thread if this is the beginning of it. I wonder if people are if they're putting okay, 7 is this okay? So jurors are seated. Judge Subramanian, welcome back to U.S. versus Combs. We will be providing lunch for you in the jury room. We will not release your names to the public. Okay. Questions are not evidence. Only answers given by the witness are, and the documents are evidence. You can consider circumstantial evidence like someone walking in with a dripping umbrella. You can surmise that it's raining outside, even if you don't see it. That a witness uses a pseudonym does not mean that their testimony is not worthy of less weight during the trial. Do not read or view or listen anything about the case, and do not post anything once the U.S. rests and once the U.S. rests and the defense can present, should you choose to. This is Mr. Combs. Is this going to be the whole thing? This is Mr. Combs to the public. He was a cultural icon, a businessman larger than life, but there was another side to him. You will hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes. He had a team to help him kidnap, arson, drugs, and sex crimes. AUSA Johnson. Let's start with one night. He was on a hunt for his girlfriend, Cassie. He forced her to have sex with male escorts while he watched and recorded it. He found out Cassie was seeing another man. Furious, he set out to find Cassie and the other man. He woke an employee to drive to his house, but no one was there. The defendant didn't give up. He kept looking for Cassie. When he found her, he beat her brutally, kicking her in the back and flinging her around like a rag doll, but it wasn't enough. He told Cassie he could release video of her having sex with male escorts. He broke into a man's house and beat him and blackmailed his girlfriend. These are not the only crimes. Cassie is not the only woman he beat and sexually exploited for 20 years. He had a business, Bad Boy Records, that made him right. He relied on his bodyguards, chief of staff, who ran all aspects of his business. The group promoted his power. His bodyguards kidnapped an employee and set the car on fire, dangled a person. Maybe he meant, I don't know what he meant by that. I'm not going to read into it, but oh, I don't know. That's Google, baby. With the long commercials, I have no control over long versus short. That's Google knowing that probably we're talking about Diddy, and Diddy is, you know what I mean? Girl, that's Al. That's algorithm doing that. Okay. This was a criminal. He coerced. Let me get back to. I think I lost my place. They dangled a person. They delivered drugs whenever he said, including to a woman he forced to have sex with an escort. He transported them across state lines and even out of the country. Let me be very clear. This case is not about a celebrity private sexual preferences. This is a criminal. He coerced, even used sexual violence. Along with his trial will focus on two women, Cassie and Jane. We will show that the defendant used lied, drugs, threats, and violence to force them to have sex with him in front of male escorts. He called them freak offs, wild king nights, or hotel nights. His staff organized flights, cars, hotels. At his direction, his staff set up a room with lubricants and lighting. Staff came in with cash to pay off escorts and drugs. So this is what they're saying in open court right now. They can't find her. She's in an RV with Sonia. Stop, Miss Lady. He made them take MDMA or Molly or ecstasy. It made them sick, but also sexually aroused. He directed every step. He expected the women to appear and enjoy themselves. I'm going to just say this. I feel really sorry for his kids because he does. I mean, the boys are kind of grown, but these girls are literally almost just out of high school. I think Chance just graduated, and the twins maybe are graduating this year. This is so disgusting to have to listen to about your dad. This is ew. You know what I'm saying? Like, most kids don't even want to see their parents kissing, and to have to hear, like, I feel sorry for those young girls that have to sit there and listen to all of this nastiness. But if they were ever wondering what was going on when maybe the maids or whatever, because I'm sure his houses were big enough for them to be in a complete different part of the property or different parts of the house, and just know you're not to come down. I mean, rich people have multiple kitchens in their homes. They've got different entrances, back stairs, all kinds of stuff, but you know what's going on in the house. You know what I'm saying? They had to know some weird shit was going on, right? This is horrible. I do feel bad for these kids. This is disgusting. He called them freak offs, king nights. Okay, we read that one. Staff came with cash to pay off escorts. He made them take MDMA, and Molly and ecstasy. It made them sick, but also sexually aroused. He directed every step. He expected the women to appear to enjoy themselves. He masturbated and recorded the events. Cassie was 19 with a hit song. Cassie tried to work on her music, but the defendant made her turn down many opportunities she recorded, but he had the final say over the music being released. There was never another album. He hit Cassie in the head and dragged her by her hair. He stomped Cassie's face in an SUV. Then he made her stay in a hotel for a week to hide her injuries. He set up freak offs as often as once a week. She spent half her time. The defendant made an escort urinate in her mouth. Yuck. As you will see in this trial, he beat her in the hallway of a hotel to drag her back into a freak off. Initially, she wanted to make him happy, but she didn't want to. But the defendant made her. The consequences were severe. He beat her when he thought she took too long in the bathroom, defying him, would end in violence. She fled. He found her. With the help of his inner circle, Cassie's career was in maybe his hands. He told her that he would destroy her career by releasing the video. When he said that to have a freak off, she knew she had no choice. She called the escort. I feel like some of this, we've all heard this, but if you read the indictment, okay, so basically it sounds like they're going through, because this is kind of how the indictment read a little bit, but it was more specific to the individual counts and acts. But nonetheless, I feel like we've heard some, this is consistent with what we've heard in the filings, right? Her safety depended on keeping him happy. The relationship was complicated. Both were unfaithful, but only one of them had power. He made Cassie do his bidding in those dark hotel rooms. Cassie was not the only one. This was a pattern. Let me tell you about Jane. She was a single mom that started spending time with him in 2020. She fell in love with him. He was seeing other women. Oops, girl. I'm just waiting for, I don't know. I guess with no cameras, I wonder if someone recognizes Jane in the courtroom, are they allowed to associate her name with who she really is? Because people will see who Jane is unless they have Jane testify behind some sort of, obstruction. Because if Carisha comes in there, we're gonna know that that's, girl, I was gonna say old Miami, young Miami. You know what I'm saying? He directed her step by step. Jane thought it was a one-time wild night. She was wrong. He continued offering a real relationship. Jane wanted the escort to wear condoms, but the defendant did not let them. Jane tried to make it through these nights without drugs. The first time she broke down and took ecstasy to finish. Another time she vomited, but he said, go do it again. Jane found two men and invited them to join the freak off so she could choose the men she wanted to be intimate with. The defendant discouraged her from working. He had the power to coerce her into hotel rooms. He threatened her with the videos. Not even a year ago, he went to her house. She was angry. She hit him. He was enraged. She tried to hide. He locked her in a bedroom. He kicked it open. Then the bathroom, the closet, the guest room. He kicked her to the ground. He did not let Jane be. He said, you're not going to fuck up my night. He said, call up an escort to perform. Jane followed his instructions. His violence got him what he wanted. Cassie will tell you about the time the defendant forces himself on her. Mia, an employee, will tell you how the defendant forces him on her, hand up her dress, penetrating her. Amidst all of the violence, he and his inner circle worked to cover up his crimes. A video at a LA hotel. You will hear just how far this went. The defendant offered a hotel security guard a wad of cash, a brown paper bag with $100,000 in $100 bills. A inner circle kept Cassie in hiding for days. For all of this, He was charged with multiple federal crimes for racketeering, conspiracy. Cassie and Jane will tell you of the most painful experiences of their lives. You'll hear from some of the defendant's employees, including his personal assistant Mia, who he sexually assaulted. He was grappling. She was grappling with it. You will hear from an employee he forced into an SUV at gunpoint, and from a chef. They worked punishing hours at times without sleep and bought him drugs. They were expected to keep quiet. Some of these witnesses have already received settlements. You will also hear from some of the escorts at the defendant directed them and filmed it. An escort saw a defendant assault Cassie and drag her by her face and during a freak off. You'll see records from hotels and the damages and car services. You will see text messages in which the defendant tells staff to bring cash for escorts. And by Jane saying she did not want to do a freak off, you will see videos. In them, you will hear the defendant provide direction to Cassie and Jane high on ecstasy. You will see in a video of the defendant brutally beating Cassie during a freak off in an LA hotel. You will see photos of the damages, including 2 4-doors in Jane's home, including 2 4-doors in Jane's home not even a year ago. You will see what he had in his home: guns, medical bags of drugs, lube. You will see the agreement with the hotel guard barring him from speaking after he paid $100,000 for the video. You will hear him manipulate Jane into saying she wanted it. His threats not to pay for her home, text to his staff about it. I ask you to do 3 things: pay attention to the evidence, follow the judge's instructions on the law, use your common sense, and you will reach a verdict that Sean Combs is guilty. Who for the defense? Terry Garagos will. Terry Garagos. Who's here for the defense? And then Garagos says, I will. Okay. Terry Garagos. This case is not about love and jealousy and money. They are trying to turn it into a racketeering case. This case is about love, jealousy, and money. They are turning it into a racketeering case. It will not work. You are the jury. You will evaluate the witness, and finally, the story can come out. This case isn't about what you heard on the news. Sean Combs is fascinating. He grew up in Harlem. He built a lawful business. He worked for it. He created a culture and produced music that changed a generation. Witnesses will share with you that he is a fascinating person and people are drawn to him. If you wanted to climb in music, apparel, beverages, you wanted to be around Sean Combs. He gave people opportunities to work at his companies. He had a vision that few had. The witnesses mostly loved him. The text messages will show that. He is 55 years old. He is going be Sean Combs. I am Terry Garagos. I am honored to present him. The only people in this courtroom who will tell you about racketeering are the prosecutors. There was no conspiracy. This case is about Sean Combs' private sex life. The government has no business in that. These hardworking individuals were educated from Harvard and Howard University. He has a temper and got violent. He is not proud of that. We own it. He sometimes gets jealous and angry. He is out of control. You will hear that he lied to his girlfriends. You may think he is a jerk or mean, but he is not. But he's not tried for that. He's tried for running a racketeering enterprise. This is domestic violence. Domestic violence is not sex trafficking. Had he been charged with domestic violence, he would not be sitting through an 8-week trial. He is not guilty of these crimes. As the trial goes on, you are going to take on accountability. We will not shy away. Sean Combs has had a bit of a different sex life. The alleged victims were all getting something from him. They are adults. They too must take on responsibility for their lives as he does for his. A free choice of pros and cons. You will evaluate these women. They made free choices every day for years. Ask yourself, what are all of the ways this individual had the ability to make these choices? Ask, what is this person getting? Something they want? It may differ. Jealousy drove choices of the victims. Combs never married, but he is a many woman man. Oh my goodness. Okay. He is always in multiple relationships. He was not always honest. It drove a primal jealousy. Sean Combs is extremely jealous. You might think it's hypocritical. They reminded they remained in multi-year relationships with him. These women were in love with him. Infidelity and jealousy drove the violence. Alcohol and drugs drove things, but he is not racketeer. This case is about his relationship with Cassie and Jane. You will hear about swinger parties. They will testify about things that should never be heard in a federal courtroom, but he liked to watch. Okay. You may not like it, but you are not here to judge him for his sexual preferences. A wealthy rapper paid for these women's homes and vacations. He is not charged with being a flawed individual. These women fought to be in a relationship with him. Cassie, I expect you will hear from her this week about her 11-year relationship. Combs with Kim Porter, the mother of 4 of his children. He continued with her until her death from pneumonia in 2018. His fights with Cassie were about cheating. It was a toxic relationship. They loved each other. Cassie will tell you about the jealousy of Kim Porter, then Gina. The day of the hotel hallway, jealousy was on display. Violence by the elevator bank 10 years ago. You will see it later today. What Combs did is indefensible. The video is not evidence of sex trafficking. Cassie walked out of a hotel room with 2 bags. Combs came down wearing only a towel. He stomps her. He drags her by her hoodie. He comes back around to get a phone. What caused the fight about the phone? Phones keep the secrets of infidelity. As soon as he gets the phone, he sits down. He's visibly disgusted. Cassie calls security. You will hear from him later today. The guards tell him to leave the public area. You will see Cassie telling him to get back to the hotel room. They stayed together 2 more years after this incident. Even into 2018, they were fighting to stay together. She saw a photo of Combs with Gina. He started with her in 2014. Cassie had a choice every single day to stay with him. That was her better choice. Until she broke up with him, she was not coerced. Then she left there with no repercussions. She ran into the arms of a physical trainer Combs had hired to train her. The only freak offs you will see at this trial were on her phone, not his. In November of 2018, Kim Porter passes away from pneumonia. Cassie did everything to be there for him. She flew to Georgia amidst the breakup. She flew to be with him. Combs said Kim was his soulmate. At the end of the relationship between Combs and Cassie, was triggered by that. Cassie realized all the things she would not be. She wanted to be Combs' wife, the love of his life. She spent 11 years trying to get that. Cassie married her trainer and is pregnant with their third, I guess she meant to say child, but it's a trial. Their third child. Evaluate Combs' intent at the time for those 11 years. These messages will show she was a willing participant in their sex life. Cassie's testimony this week can't change that. In 2020, with Jane, Combs was more upfront. He told her he was dating other women. She was still jealous. Jane wanted it public. He proposed a consensual threesome. They went to a private hotel. I expect her to say she enjoyed it. Jane was desperate to be with him. To give him things others couldn't. She tried to make it more than sexual. I'm not sure how she will put it, but it always came back to parties in the hotel rooms. This was their time together. Jane did it for the cuddle. She wanted to make him happy. She was unable to resist him emotionally. There was a phone call in November of 2023. Even after it, she flew out to see him many more times. It was toxic, but she was willing. Ooh. Being a willing participant in your sex life is not sex trafficking. If she walked away, she would have lost him. You will see her jealousy. She would see him on social media with other women, and she would send messages of regret. It's not coerced. She was driven to try to be in first place. This was the way to try to get there. It was not a crime. This was night a year ago when Jane hit Combs. It was born out of jealousy. He hit her back. She was overcome with jealousy. She slammed his head into a kitchen counter. Months later, she flew to see him and invited an escort. She will call it one of her best nights, a wild king night, whatever you want to call it. This will be hard to watch. They are, in one word, intimate. The government told you about someone named Mia. Why are they making these allegations now? You will conclude that everyone has a motive. With Mia, she never said it before, nor when she first started cooperating with the government. If this was so hostile, why did they not call the police? They are vindictive. Their motive is simple: money. Cassie filed a public lawsuit in November of 2023. She was living with her parents in a modest home in Connecticut. She went to a civil lawyer. The civil lawyer is here today. They went to civil lawyers to make a money grab. Cassie demanded $30 million. Another asked for $22 million. How many millions of reasons do these witnesses have to lie? The evidence will not make out the charges or on bribery. This is about the Intercontinental Hotel. He paid a security guard to make the footage go away. This was solely to prevent bad publicity for Combs and for Cassie. There was no law enforcement investigation. The kidnapping related to an employee. She worked for him for 10 years. She also asked to work for him again. Drug trafficking. It was personal use. They worked hard. They were there to do something great and novel. It was a free choice. There was no conspiracy. There was no paying different men for their time and experience. Porn actors get paid. Hulkamania, Cowboys for Angels. You can pay money for time and experience. This is what Sean Combs was doing. You are not here to impose your morality on this man. If you listen, you will find him not guilty of these crimes. Thank you. Judge says we'll take a break. And baby, okay. The jury is out. Brian Steele's objecting to 2 exhibits. The judge: in the future, I'd like to hear this the day before. We only learned they only learned they objected, but this about the incident report in the hotel lobby, broken vase. The report was an addendum. Brian Steele, in the third paragraph, he writes that he did not want Mr. Combs to see Cassie out in front. He talks about a co-worked Addie that Mr. Combs is about to yell, "This is speculation and should not go in." Miss Slavic, please pass up the exhibits, adjourned with extras. Okay. 122. What time is it? Okay, 122. They're back, or nearly all of them. Judge, in terms of the objection defense, we're still waiting on the defendant. Oh, sorry. One exhibit objected to, subject to U.S. Lang. The proper foundation is admissible. What is that? An ad? Okay. Okay, they're asking questions like, what's the racial makeup of the jury? I don't know if they can even say that, to be quite honest. Okay, that was a hell of a thread. Okay. My God, that was a hell of a thread. All right, let's see if it. I know, I'm like, okay, let's see. Oh, okay, 8 seconds ago. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay. Objection, we're still waiting for the defendant. The exhibit isn't that the objection. This is excluded. Let's get the jury back in. All rise. Is the government ready to call the first witness? First, we enter for exhibits. No objection. We call LAPD officer Israel Flores. He's sworn in. I am also a reservist for the Army. I was a guard with Securitas in 2016 in the Intercontinental Hotel near Century City. What happened on March 5th, 2016? I was told of the 6th floor. Ooh. I hate always having to refresh. I wish it would just populate by itself. Girl, Israel Flores is on the stand. Okay. Okay, we'll refresh in a minute and go back. Ooh. Y'all. You're scared. Okay, so trying to put Cassie on trial. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're going to try. This is just my opinion. Let me drop the link if any of you guys want to call in. Or tap in rather. Just make sure if you're tapping in on your phone, close out your YouTube app before you tap in because it's going to make a duplicate. This is what I think, but this is just what I think. I think they're going to straddle the fine line between adulting and sex trafficking. Is she just an adult in a toxic relationship, or is it what the government says it is? I don't know that they're trying to drag her as, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying what the defense seems to be going with. I don't know that their defense is going to be built on dragging her. I think it's more so going to be she was an adult this was a toxic relationship. Let me say it like that. She's an adult. This was toxic. This was obviously toxic. We admit to that. But toxic relationships don't always necessarily mean racketeering and trafficking. That's what I'm assuming. That's what it sounds like she said to me. Um, is that true? I don't know. I mean, this is the first time we're seeing all this. I mean, Diddy has introduced us to a lot over the years. And this whole thing in the past, this whole thing has been, quite a lot, right? Um, let's see. So they said, I was told of the sixth floor. There, I recognize Sean Combs. He is there wearing a gray sweater. What is your title? Assistant Director of Security. Let me show you a photo of the Intercontinental Hotel. It's shaped like a pyramid. And they admitted that into the evidence. Okay. They're saying you're nasty. Yes, basically. Have you guys read the most recent superseding indictment? I downloaded that. I'll post that to Patreon and y'all can get that. I'll put that up. The superseding indictment tells you every single thing that they're trying to prove. Hold on a second. Have y'all looked at that? So there was the original indictment and then there was the superseding indictment. Let's see what else is going on too outside the courthouse. If there's anything else going on. He's nasty, but not a crime. So they say. That's what they say. That's the, you know what I mean? Like if we're sitting here as some jurors, we're just taking this all in. I don't, if the prosecution is saying that there was a very concerted network, there was a network at play. You might think that, these girls, these ladies, these people may think that this is just some swingers parties, but there seems to be a machine behind the scenes making this happen. This is what would be a linchpin for me as far as, okay, this was a business, this was racketeering, there was an enterprise. If he had business relationships that were contingent upon having access to particular women, particular sex experiences, parties, if people were made to feel like they were not allowed to leave, things like that, and they're like, someone actually had a job description to like wrangle these people, orchestrate the people, like the chief of staff and things like that. Like this was almost like like they said, it's a performance situation. If this was really kind of like, this billionaire's flying in because this is what I expect when I come to Diddy's house and I pay money for this, or I have access to this because of the circles that I'm in, and all of these people are being used as pawns and players, if you will, in this situation, and it's all up under this company situation. I don't know, maybe they can prove, if they can tie in the corporation, the enterprise, and the money trail, maybe even it being part of the business, the sexual harassment, the also the fact that this is a personal relationship, but it's a business relationship with Cassie. Cassie was talent on his roster. She wasn't just a girlfriend. She was someone who actually worked for the business too, right? So I'm just interested to hear how it plays out. Tory Lanez got stabbed and rushed to the hospital. Girl, on today, baby, let's see what's going on. Hold on. Girl. Girl, breaking news. Okay. Hold on. Are they gonna
For shooting and injuring Megan Thee Stallion. Lanes was convicted of 3 felonies in the case back in December. The judge said it was, quote, difficult to reconcile the kind person and good father many described Lanes.
Okay, girl, we remember that day that they got but this is not it. Hold on. Let me see. So they said Tory Lanez stabbed. They say Tory Lanez was repeatedly stabbed on the yard of a California prison Monday, according to TMZ. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is serving a 10-year sentence for a 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. The rapper's current condition is unknown. Rapper Tory Lanez is hospitalized after being stabbed by another inmate in prison. What we know, okay? Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is serving a 10-year sentence for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. He already attacked on the yard in California Correctional Institution at Tacopay. Tacopay. We're going to have to do some research on that. Okay. Monday morning, multiple sources told the publication the rapper was taken to the hospital in Bakersfield for treatment. According to TMZ, the injury is repeatedly non-life threatening. The motive of the attack remains under investigation. Let me guess, zoom zooms and wham whams. Peterson was found guilty of 3 felonies last December in the 2020 stabbing of Meg Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete. He was sentenced in August of 2023. During the shooting trial, Meg Thee Stallion said she was shot in the foot after she and Peterson got into an argument after they both attended a house party at Kylie Jenner's in the Hollywood Hills. Back in 2020, Meg Thee Stallion testified that Lanez told her to dance, bitch. We all remember that, before opening fire. Wow, breaking news. Thank you, Bougie Gang. Mr. Allen Speed, always coming through. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for supporting. Okay. So allegedly, word on the street is that Ye, we're just going to use nicknames here. You know who Ye is. Caught a disfiguring disease. Freak off. Okay. They say he's in critical condition. Hold on a second, girl. Why can I not say critical condition without thinking about Eddie Murphy? Anybody in the 50s, if you're in your late 40s or 50s, you guys remember Delirious. When Eddie Murphy said critical condition, you can't even say critical condition without thinking of, I hope he's okay. I really do. Let's see. Baby. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, Tory Lanez stabbed in prison, rushed to the hospital. This isn't how Tory Lanez wants to get out of prison, but he is, after suffering a prison yard stabbing so bad he needs hospital treatment. TMZ has learned Tory Lanez was in the yard of California Correctional Institute at Tacopay Monday morning when another inmate stabbed him. According to multiple sources, including one in law enforcement, it is unclear what the motivation was for the attack, but one source tells us Tory was rushed by ambulance to a nearby civilian hospital in Bakersfield. Last week, he posed for a picture of himself looking pretty buff behind bars and bragging his next album would be dropping soon. Okay, so that's his boys over there. And he's back on his workouts. Megan The artist serving a 10-year sentence at the California State Prison for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. Tory and Megan are still battling each other in court. She's accusing him of enlisting various bloggers to continue to publicly smear and cyberstalk her. We're told Tory's stabbing injury is non-life threatening. Story is developing. Okay. Okay, baby. Baby. Yes. I mean, that is not, he's paying his debt. Look, no matter what happened, however you believe that story went down with Tory and Megan, at the end of the day, nobody wants to see Tory Lanez go in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him do his time, let him pay his debt and get back out and be done. You know what I'm saying? You said Rock Nation did it, baby. His attorney's words spoke volumes. If Diddy's were not famous, wealthy, etc., actually sounds like an everyday six-figure suburban man who cheats on his girlfriend while in a toxic relationship. And they said this is domestic violence, but domestic violence is not racketeering and sex trafficking. Let me just say this. Like I was saying, now I'm not on the, you know what I mean? Like, you guys know I'm sitting in front of my computer just like you guys. If there was some monetary value that was put on Cassie's head to humiliate her, to give people opportunities to experience her sexually, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there was some sort of monetary value on some of this, and also they're able to tie some sort of gain back into the company and some sort of conspiracy of staff, specifically like, this is your job duty, bring me the hose, you're in charge of sex operations. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, they're going to have to bring all of this to really make it that this was part of the enterprise. This was part of the business. These were people's job duties. I almost feel like, too, on top of that, that there's some sort of cash value, some sort of value in these sex capades that also ties into the corporation. So you got some billionaires opting into like these, like a sex club, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they've called that out. I don't know if that's even part of anything. The freak offs, was there? I'm sure there's some big freaks out there that would pay $1 million to be able to have an invite to these. You know, we've seen the movies before. Remember Eyes Wide Shut? There are, we all know that these things exist. You know what I'm saying? With the very wealthy set and the very freaky wealthy set, right? Was this, is this a bad boy party? Is this a party for bad boy where freak offs are happening? Is this a company event? Is this how it goes down? Is this the after party of the main party that kicks off at 1:00? You know, because it's funny how there's always been a dialogue that's like, if you go to a Diddy party, when it starts clearing out, that's when you know you're supposed to leave, or don't go inside, or don't go to the back rooms, or don't do this, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm interested. I'm interested to hear more about how it became racketeering and sex trafficking, because that would mean that there's a money value tied into Cassie and the sex that was happening, not just paid escorts, that she was being trafficked too. Or I don't know. I mean, I don't know, girl. We're gonna learn and hear about all of this together. um it sounds awful and brutal and not fun at all. Okay, that's what I say. It sounds terrible. Let me refresh X and then mm, girl, we gonna have to go back through this whole thing. Hold on. Okay, in all that time, what kind of incidents did you respond to? All kinds. We had a couple of suicides there. We'd prepare incident reports like 5 Ws. We would attach photos to the reports. Yes, but not video. We did not have the password. When did the incident take place? 11 a.m. I got a report of a woman in distress on the 6th floor. I closed the security base and checked the cameras. There was an African American man pacing back and forth. I didn't see the female. I rushed there. Okay. What did you see on the 6th floor? Mr. Combs was in a towel and some like colored socks. He's a rapper, producer, and Cassie on the floor. Let me show you the photos. Combs is in a tuxedo, and in a separate photo, Cassie Ventura smiling. Girl, R. Kelly said after the show it's the after party, and after the party it's the hotel lobby, and after the hotel lobby it's what is it? It's fiesta. Girl. Let me get the lyrics right because you guys know I always get them wrong. Girl, fiesta was a mess. Okay. After the show, it's the after party. After the party, it's the hotel lobby. After the Bellevue, it's probably Chris. And after the original, it's probably this. Okay. Is that, let's see, remix from the home in the Midwest game recognizes game. Okay. A mess. Was that Jay-Z who said that on R. Kelly's girl, a mess, right? Look, you always know when it's time to get home, right? You see that crowd thinning out, get your ass in the car. Get your ass in your car, the lot, you know what I'm saying? Uber, however you get home, get there. Okay? That's the always important thing is that no matter what as a person, period, get home. That's the main thing. Go have your fun, get your ass home, period. By hook or by crook, get home. Let's see. What did you tell them that is why we're arguing? They have to take it back to these rooms and the broken vase would be charged to the room. Cassie said she wanted her phone and her bag. Okay. He told them to take it to the room. At this point, they just need to throw away the entire music industry. It's bad because there's years and years and years of it's like systemic. This is you know, when you are the leader, the captain of industry, um you're calling shots to the point where, especially when people are part of the culture, when you've got people who worked, you know, for 20 and 30 years for a company and they don't even know what's going on outside of the company, sometimes it becomes some of like, well, that's how we do it here. You know what I mean? When I was at such and such, you could be working at forget about Diddy at this moment, right? You could be working for a company that has a culture of, drinks on Friday night and or like a camaraderie type situation where people go out for drinks, they go out for dinner, it's very personable, you get invited to people's weddings, all of the things, and then you find out someone is being sexually harassed, um and you have opinions about their behavior or their interaction and things like that. Doesn't mean that they weren't sexually harassed, but it could be because you have been so eyes blind because you've been part of that corporate culture structure for so long. You don't even, that's why when you see movies, when you see like the series Mad Men, even though of course obviously that's a time period from long ago, those martini lunches went out the window. Even now in corporate America, the Christmas parties, you don't even have the Christmas party anymore. It's the holiday party because, you know, religion, but also just the parties don't always have bars anymore. Okay. You might have a offsite event. Let me tell you, when I went, so when I was still in staffing, I was number I so you had different categories, but I didn't win all of President's Club, but for my category, I placed in President's Club. So we took a cruise with all of the top performers and all of that, right? We had like the premium drink packages automatically in our package, and we played poker. It was just fun. You could drink as much as you want, eat as much as you want. It was a 5-day Caribbean cruise. It was so much fun. President of the company, all of the top performers in the company, everybody on the cruise, right? Were there people shit-faced drunk? Absolutely. Absolutely. Shit-face. But being one of the very few, I'm just going to say it like it is, being one of the very few black people on the trip, baby, we kept our wits about us. We were not playing. Okay. We weren't even married then yet. That's how far back this goes. And at the end of the day, I knew you don't, this is a work party. No matter, I'm in my bathing suit with my manager. I'm sitting here in a sarong and my bathing suit, and you know, my boyfriend, who's now my husband, is, you know, he's just in his bathing trunks. You know, we're out on the deck. At the end of the day, I'm still at work. You know what I mean? I kept my wits about me. I was not playing with those people, because you come back from a trip and you act a fool, guess what? You get off the boat and you don't have a job. Okay? Even though the culture at the company that I worked for was very much, even though we were publicly traded, it was, you know, it was very much like drinks, dinner type stuff. You know what I mean? You got to know how to handle yourself. You don't get all in. You don't join like you me personally, you don't go all the way in. You don't get completely lose your mind like these are your friends, because they're not. These are your coworkers, right? That's how you keep your job. You keep your mouth shut, and you don't, you know what I mean? You don't talk about how bad people looked in their bathing suits, and you hope that people aren't going to talk about how bad you looked in yours. You know what I'm saying? And you don't get shit-faced drunk. You know, but that was that culture. I've worked at other like when I worked for Walmart corporate in talent acquisition, baby, you could not buy alcohol. If you were at a work event, if you were at a dinner with colleagues, you could not buy alcohol. That was part of your agreements. Like as far as putting alcohol on your corporate card, absolutely not. But even having a alcoholic beverage at a work event, absolutely no. So I could be going out to dinner with my boss, no wine. No wine. And it's not because of any reason other than they don't want lawsuits. They don't want lawsuits, so no drinking. Now, did other people do it, have a beer or whatever? They probably did, but I supported HR. I'm an HR function. So of course, like we're not gonna, you know what I mean, we're not gonna break the rules, are we? I'm sure some people did who were friends outside of work, but if I went to Arkansas and I was having a dinner meeting with my manager, there's no wine. It's Sprite and water. Okay. If Diddy had a culture where you're invited to a work event at his house and all of a sudden people are getting naked and having sex, that's weird, right? That's weird. Just think about it. If you work for Bad Boy and you get invited to the boss's house in the Hamptons and you're there a little bit late by mistake, or your car hasn't shown up yet, does that mean that you're opting in for a freak off? or you get exposed to seeing something, like they had a very definite culture going on, but was that part of the company culture, or was that just Diddy's house outside of work? So if they're able to really correlate that part of the company culture was part of his sex life, I don't know. I do not know. You know, it's going to be interesting to hear. This is definitely something that's going to affect a lot of people, because this there's people out here who are in turmoil at work, and they have very toxic work culture. And, you know, this is definitely an interesting case to listen to from that standpoint, because you have more than just Cassie and Jane. You have people who are assistants, chief of staff, people that work for the company who are being asked to do things that really fall out of the scope of like a typical job. So we're just going to have to see how this, girl, we're going to have to see how this thing goes. Me personally, I wouldn't drink with anybody at the job. I don't care. I don't care if it's one margarita. No, thank you. We're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to be cold and callous about it, but I know me, and I don't want to be loose. I don't even want to be semi loose off a couple sips of a margarita around anybody that I work with. I just don't. I don't want to even make myself that comfortable, because these are not my friends. You know what I mean? These are colleagues and cohorts and things like that. It doesn't mean I don't like you. Doesn't mean I'm not going to have a good time with you. But no. Beer pong drinks around. Okay. I no longer participate unless required in corporate functions. They just use. I remember, like in my late 20s, early 30s. Let me tell you, I had a this one was absolutely disgusting. I'm just going to say this because I'm not going to say too much about her in general, but she was a freak. She was a freak off variety. She never I don't think she invited people to get into freak offs or anything like that, but we know that she went to hedonism. This is one of my district managers. I didn't even know what hedonism was at the time. I don't even know if hedonism still exists, but one of my coworkers was like, "You know, she went to hedonism on vacation." I was like, "What's that?" Girl, a whole swingers resort. This lady, on Thursdays, we used to go to this place called the Wine Vault. If you live here in Charlotte, you might know what I'm talking about. There's a place in University. It's like a wine shop. And I never used to want to go because I just didn't. Because I'm very susceptible to alcohol. So you know what I'm saying? Like a glass of wine has me feeling very relaxed, okay? And I'm a Virgo, and you know I have to be in control at all times, right? I have to control me. I don't have to control you, but I got to control me, right? I started to go maybe every other week or once a month just to keep the damn peace, because it almost turned to like a hostile work situation when you didn't participate. That's what kind of director I had. Like, she was so fucking annoying. But baby, when it got around that her and her husband, when she told everybody that she went to hedonism on vacation and it went back to corporate, baby, she got fired like a week later. She came back from vacation. There was already an investigation going, not because her and her husband do whatever they did, but because as a director, you let that information out, it got around, and that just as a leader, whatever the reasons were, I was not in on the actual specific reason why she was terminated, other than sis was fired. Okay, she was fired. It got around that they went to a swingers resort, and baby sis was gone within a week. Okay. Somebody could have felt like that was some sexual harassment telling. Like, why are you telling this person this information? Like, that some people could perceive that as being solicited. Like, you don't tell people your business like that. Let's see. Flores said, okay, we have a few more messages. And I think I'm gonna let y'all go after this. We can get back into reading some more. Um, I don't even like to drink a glass of wine too much at a work event. I might sip on something, or like a spritzer, something that's already cut with some soda or some juice or something like that. So if it's a work event and it's something, I mean, I'm not going to drink a martini. I'm not going to have a cosmopolitan. If I have a glass of wine, it's going to be something very sparkling that I will be sipping on very slowly, or some sort of spritzer. You know what I mean? Just to keep it very cute, because I know that I feel alcohol just with one drink. And work events, no ma'am. Mm-mm. I can drink at home, and I don't even really drink at home. I like to buy wine and I barely ever drink it. You know, like I'll hear about some good new drink and try it out and have all of the ingredients for it, and it sits there until we have company or something like that. You know what I mean? Right. You just don't. And I felt like when I was being pressured, I felt a lot of pressure to go to the after hours. I really did. To the point where I attended and really didn't want to. And if you're ever in a situation like that, that is reportable. But at that time, I worked for a very small company, and I didn't feel, and I was also really young. I don't even think I was 30 yet. You know what I mean? And I was very conflicted. I didn't want to go. It was definitely peer pressure. And when I think back, I should have just been like, I'm not coming. But, the culture, especially, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've spent most of my career being like one of usually the only one in a department, or one of very few Black people. Even when I worked for Walmart, their talent acquisition team, uh, baby, TA, we had coordinators who were Black. So when I traveled to Arkansas to Global People, Global People Services, um, you had a lot of coordinators, assistants. As far as talent acquisition, um, not really, not many. And on my team, absolutely none reporting to my manager. My specific manager that supported was a finance recruiter with them. And no, so I spent a lot of my career being the only Black person on the team, like with multiple companies, and it's very uncomfortable. Any of you guys who are the only right now, I feel for you, because I spent almost my whole career being the only. Sometimes it sucks to be the only woman. It sucks to be the only Black person. It just sucks. And when people are weird around you, or you don't necessarily, I don't want to say don't fit in, but you know what I mean? Like the culture is a certain way. You want to do the work, you enjoy your job and all of the things. But that particular experience with that agency that I worked for, where it was almost required to go do the business after hours type, you know, events, it was a lot. And I very much felt coerced, but I had to go to, eventually it stopped. But it was really interesting how when the manager got fired, I mean, everybody was like, oh my God, she's gone. Everybody was so happy. Like we all were on pins and needles with her. You know what I mean? Not for not getting the work done, not for not being great at what we did, but just of she was very toxic woman. She was very toxic, and everybody was so happy when she got fired. And this, I don't know if it was like a morality thing or whatever. This was a privately owned company. The woman who, went to hedonism with her husband and told one of the managers, like, you telling one of your direct reports that you're going to a swingers resort for vacation. I'm grateful that that manager reported her to corporate, because that was inappropriate. Nobody needs to know, okay, you're on vacation, wonderful. You're going to Jamaica, awesome. You're going to a swinger sex resort, baby. We didn't need to know that. Okay? That's why she lost her job. Okay? Mhm. When I discovered mocktails, they became my favorite. People, when you are a worker bee, when you are mid-level, mid-career, when you are front and center, with your entry level, whatever. Nobody's at work just because they feel good about being there. People are at work because they have rent, mortgages, car payments. They have a lifestyle to pay for, right? That's why we're at work. We're not there just like, I'm here for the cause. You know what I mean? I'm here to make you richer. No, I'm here to pay for my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to hear the government's case. I want to hear about the corporate stuff. I want to hear about the people that work for Diddy and how they felt. What was your actual job, but what did you find yourself? Was your job secretary, and were you having to go pick up ecstasy? Like, tell me about your job and tell me when it went left. That's what I want to hear about. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that's going to make it like, you know, more interesting. That's what's going to make it, I feel bad for Cassie. Um, you know, clearly she was hurt, physically and all of the things. And I can only imagine, girl, being with someone for 11 years and he's with everybody else and feeling some type of way and thinking that you're just one breakup away from being like the main chick, and that never happens. How, that's the reality for people like today, that there are people who are living day to day, hoping that their man will break up with the other girl that they're dating and promote them to main chick, from side chick or number two, number three, number four, number five. Um, I get it. That's not a good place to be. I don't do after work functions with coworkers. I see them enough through the day. Girl, when I worked for bigger companies, you really didn't have those problems. Small companies is where that stuff is so prevalent. Where you may have a company of 100 people or less, there might be like a team of HR of like one, and that person's trying to hold on to their job too, and they don't have enough courage to say, you know what, we need like this. I've heard, it came to my attention that I've seen, I recommend that this type of these get-togethers, these things need to stop. If you're going to do it for one, you have to do it for all. If you know what I'm saying, there are some people who do work for companies, and the companies are very small. They do everything from recruiting to investigations to benefits to, they're a one woman, one man show. And dealing with the culture isn't necessarily part of their job, but the culture is also leading investigations because of how they do business there. And if you have a small company and the president of the company likes the way they do things, and you know you could be gone, you can be replaced because they're not ready to change. You've heard about, and look, I don't want to even really bring up Kevin Hart too much, but you've heard about Kevin Hart's assistant and what she had to say about how that office was run, right? All the dating, all of the shenanigans. If you saw it on Tasha K, baby, Kevin Hart's, when I saw that interview, I was like, this is a damn nightmare. But if you tell somebody that their office that they started with just 2 or 3 friends and has now grown to 50 or 75 people, that this culture that you used to be, because everyone here is not your friend. These are people who actually work for you. You can't keep a environment like this is not conducive, it's not professional, it's not any of those things, baby, you will be in the parking lot with your box. Okay. And I mean your box of stuff from your desk and getting your last check. You know what I mean? If they're not receptive to it and they take it personally, they don't like it. Girl, Halloween parties are a no-no. Someone is always going to come in with something see-through. Somebody got to be showing their titties. Somebody is coming in with something offensive. Halloween parties are a no-no. Do not dress for Halloween. Halloween is not good. And then you got somebody who's going to say, y'all need Jesus. That's a pagan holiday. Somebody's going to write an email. They're offended because they think you called them a devil. Baby, don't even do Halloween. Have a couple of bowls of candy strategically placed. Everybody knows it's Halloween. Get your candy and go to your desk. Be done. No dressing. You know what I'm saying? Like, baby, I'm telling you, no. No. We're not doing that. No. Cannot. We're doing birthdays. It's cake and juice. Cake, juice, cookies. We can get some sparkling cider. All right, let's see what else. Girl. This workplace stuff, it's a trip. Am I lying, Gray? That keeps your HR business partner or your HR manager, they are there, they really are there in the interest of the company, but in the interest of the company really is also protecting the employees. And sometimes you got to sacrifice less fun for just order and a smooth environment where people can get their jobs done and feel empowered to work and be their best, but not have to feel pressured in any type of way for anything outside of work performance. Making it social is not a good thing. Making it too social is not a good thing. It's just not. And this is like a penultimate type situation. This Diddy thing to me is like, my God, this is horrible. This is horrible because they are trying to tie it into the company, but I want to see the tie-in. Okay. Just weird stuff. People doing weird, girl, just weird stuff. Who's on the East Coast getting all this rain? We've had rain all day. Okay, let's see. I'm going to let y'all go in a minute because this feed is kind of going slow. I could imagine it's probably hard to type and tweet all of this. His fingers are probably tired. Okay, let's see. Let's get back to what did you tell them that they were okay. Combs was in a tuxedo. Okay. What did you tell them that they are arguing, they have to take it back to their rooms and that the vase would be charged to the room. Cassie said she wanted her phone in her bag. Miss Cassie said she wanted to leave. Mr. Combs said, "You're not leaving." I saw inside the room a male black wearing dark clothing. What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie left? He called for me. He was holding a stack of money to not tell anyone. What did he say? I said, "I don't want your money. The damage is going to be charged to the room." Where did Cassie go? After I spoke with her, she left. A car pulled up. She left in a black SUV. Was there a driver? Flores said 7 feet. I don't know what that means. Was there a driver? Flores said 7 feet, girl. He said he wants to leave. I said, I'm talking to her, not you. They left. Then what? We went up to Mr. Combs' room to remind him the hotel rules. He opens the door and grabs the phone and says, "Are you recording me?" I pinned him to the wall. Ooh, okay, Mr. Flores. I took photos of the broken vase to tell them to come clean it up. I went to write up an incident report. Is this it? My report with the name on it. Defense, same objection. Judge noted. Then, did you review the video? Flores said yes. I'm handing you a thumb drive with videos. Did it have audio? Flores said no. Let's walk through it. Who is this? He says Cassie and this, Mr. Combs. What's happening here? She picked up a wall phone. Okay, so they're starting with, I guess they're setting it up for Cassie to be next. I don't know. Do you think, I almost feel like, I don't know. I'm certainly not a lawyer. I just feel like if you're going to set up the racketeering, sex trafficking, I feel like we need to hear from the damn chief of staff. Like, how much of your job as chief of staff of Mr. Combs' personal affairs, were you chief of staff at Bad Boy, or were you chief of staff over all of the people that work for him outside of the corporation? And what were your duties? What did you do? Like, what was the line of demarcation? Did you have any duties at the company versus what was going on for Mr. Combs' personal life? Were you more like an executive personal assistant? Did you have an office at Bad Boy? Like, were you working for both? Like, how was that? I cannot. No. No, ma'am. You know what? I really think, any of you guys, I think the pandemic was such a good cool down for a lot of people with work events, and to get a nice, healthy separation from people that you work with. Girl, I just felt like this was the best thing ever. Outside of people having to learn like Zoom etiquette and things like that. And I don't mean Zoom etiquette like how to do a video call, but just the etiquette of using Slack and all of our business tools to commute. Like, don't fucking stalk me. Just because I'm not on Slack for 10 minutes doesn't mean I went out to go get my nails done. You know what I'm saying? Or on instant messenger and Zoom. Like, I don't have to turn my camera on. My hair's not done. Do you mind? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think it was such a wonderful cool down for people who did have the luxury to be able to work from home, because that access that people have been used to for 8 to 10 hours to be all up in your face and looking at your desk and seeing what you're doing and clocking your lunchtime and, ew, she bought in something with vinegar again. All of that shit. Thank you, G. That was amazing. That really made me like not ever want to go back into the office again. Like, I was like, I'm good. I always like to be in the office, for what reason I don't know, but after um the pandemic, no. Yeah. Girl, those damn pools. It's always someone's birthday. Everybody needs $20. And then when it comes time for your birthday, where's my fucking cake? You know what I'm saying? Where's my gifts? Where's my, you know what I'm saying? You got to, it's too much. Can we just not? And then you go out and everybody has a good time one time. And now it's, we should do this once a month. This was so much fun. And then it becomes like a chore. It's all the people that need and want friends who want to who always want to get together. Like, we should do this all the time. This was so much fun. Girl, bye. Okay, maybe they're queuing up the videos right now. Guys, I'm going to get back with you guys. Right. Awful. Just awful. I know we can swap workplace stories like all day all night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they never keep it up all year, so why start it? Cuz the intent because you had a good time. Sometimes it's like, can we just enjoy this one good time? Why don't we just enjoy this? Why don't we ride this out, finish this good time, and then let it go? And then we'll see you for the next good time that might happen again in the future. You know what I mean? But we don't need to do this because we try to do it every month, it gets corny and everybody can't do everything once a month. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do my best. Like we'll stay up on this. I mean, definitely this is very, girl. I think today, I don't know how long they're supposed to be going, but we went over the schedule last week. Hold on a second, let me find it. I feel like after this week, let me hush my dog. Girl, Portia is bothered. Okay, just ignore her, please. All right, let's see. I'll find it in just a second. The schedule. It was kind of like the proposed schedule. Is this it right here? Let me see. I think we looked at this last week, but this is what is supposed to be the schedule. Okay, let me make this big. Ooh. Okay. Okay, this is the proposed schedule. So potential jurors will be called back. Your availability during the trial will commence on Monday, May 12th. The trial is expected to last about 8 weeks. Generally, the trial will be held 5 days per week. Generally, trial will be held 5 days per week, Monday through Friday. During the first week of trial, May 12th through the 25th through Friday the 16th, trial will be held from 9:30 to 5. After the first week, trial will be held from 9:30 until 3. Trial will not be held on Friday, May 23rd, Monday, May 26th, June 19th, or July 4th, Independence Day. If you are selected as a juror, you will be required to be present for the taking of testimony evidence for as long as the trial lasts. Okay, this is the schedule. Let me take a screenshot of that. I feel like when we talked about this early last week, but let me just take a screenshot of it. Okay. So this week, court's till 5. What time is it? Oh, it's 2:30. Okay. I tried to pull Secret Santa. I said, nope, not participating. It was $20 limit, but I don't want someone bringing me $20 worth of Dollar Tree shit. Girl, I said Dollar Tree shit. No, don't bring me Dollar Tree. Don't bring me $20, nothing. It's like, and look, okay, we're totally off right now, but that's okay. This is the thing. There are people at work who, let me say it like Judge Page. Here's the thing. Okay. There are people who don't have friends. Okay. They don't have friends, and the workplace is their whole entire social life. Like for a lot of people, work is just work. And for some of us, work is everything. Okay. If you are my job is my existence, identity, social life, everything, find something to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be let down. You're going to be very, very, very much given let down. Okay. I mean, I don't want any Christmas gifts from anybody at work. If my boss decides to buy the whole entire team some chocolates or whatever they decide to buy, some company shirts, fine. You know what I'm saying? If I want to give my boss a nice pen or something because they're my boss or whatever, a cup with some damn hot chocolate or whatever in it, okay. I don't want to have to be forced to participate, you know? This trial is funny because it's going to bring up a lot of workplace conversations because we haven't even gotten to that part. This is now like the relationship part. This is the bad part about what was happening with Diddy and Cassie and relationship man sharing. This is sad, but this is like the man sharing thing. And that opening statement was really sad. What Tenny Garagos was saying, even though, I guess that's Mr. Combs' defense. She wanted to be number one out of all of the women. Like, do you imagine you're with this guy? She loved him. This is what they're saying. Meanwhile, he says Kim Porter was the love of his life. And even after Kim Porter was gone, there was still other people. She never got promoted to number one, type thing. And okay. I want to hear about the money, the finances, the collusion, all of those things. We're going to hear about it, I guess. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. This was really interesting. I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it, and I'm really excited about the conversations that will come from this. And I always take off when the exchanges were to happen and didn't participate in the mess. Yeah. All of those kids. Isn't that terrible? All right, we'll get together tomorrow and get caught up again. You guys have a good afternoon. I'll be reading on X and getting caught up too. Yeah, he loved Kim so much that he girl pre-purchased her casket. Well, people do that though. They buy burial plots and all of that stuff, but um not any girl, you don't know who's got roaches, what people are. It's just sad. It's sad. Everybody is not clean. Some people like to lick spoons while they're cooking. No, thank you. Everybody should just bring something. If you bring something that's been professionally made, I'm cool with that. Or if they're ordering lunch, perfection. Eating from so and so's kitchen, no, thank you. That's okay. If anything else comes up, I'll let you guys know. If anything comes up, if you see something, say something down in the comments or get at me on Instagram or wherever else. I guess that's it, right? Anything else? Okay, love you guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up for me and I will catch you guys. You said potluck today is too risky. It is. They just need to collect. If you guys all want to eat lunch together, everybody put in some money and order from you guys' favorite restaurant. Everybody order their own thing. Do a group DoorDash, or you know how they do? Is it like a group DoorDash? Everybody gets on the order, pays their own bill, and that's it, right? I feel like we used to do that. I don't know if that was DoorDash or not, but you could get like a collective order. You get in I remember like getting a link. I click on the link, I put in my order, and the order was basically like all together. And we would all get our food and we would just like go in a conference room, talk about like Mad Men, talk about Westworld, talk about a TV. That's always a safe topic, okay? Talk about a TV show, current events, what's going on, new company policy that's not controversial, things of that nature. Baby, don't tell people you're buying a house, buying a car, buying a boat, going on exotic vacation. You got surgery coming up. Don't tell when I had a surgery, you know when my colleagues, my cohorts found out? Maybe the Wednesday before. And that was because I was already setting up my Excel spreadsheet with all of what I had going on and handing my work over to somebody, and still didn't tell them what I was going to be doing, but I'm going to be out for 3 weeks. Okay? Is everything's great. Yeah, everything's fine. Can I do anything? Yeah, you can get this motherfucking spreadsheet, and you can I've already told I'm going to set up some bridge calls tomorrow, and you can talk to I'll have you set with my business, and good luck. You know what I mean? I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Absolutely. Everything is perfection. Okay? Girl, they want to know so bad at the job what you got going on, and it's like none of your business. They don't like that. Anyway, we'll talk about that another place, another time. You guys have a wonderful day. This was fun. You know, I love HR talk, and I love talking workplace stuff with you guys. But yeah, I mean, Diddy, baby, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting coming from the angle that the government is coming from. Are they going to be able? I want to hear the demonstration of like what was the racketeering. I'm going to go back through the indictment, read it again, and if it makes sense, if you guys want to hear it, we can go back through. We don't maybe not need to go through it word for word, but just to go back through the indictment just to understand, or maybe try to like, okay, how did this lead to this, right? So anyway, please do more HR talks. Absolutely. This is I'm sure it's going to come up more and more as this trial goes on, because I see it all over it. You know what I mean? Especially I want to hear when they talk to the employees, like actual, I get a check. You know what I mean? I get a check from Bad Boy, or whatever the company is that they worked for specifically, and provided services to Mr. Combs, not the escorts per se, but people who felt like they were falling outside of the scope of their job. I want to hear about that. Okay. Yes. The multi DoorDash thing. I feel like I remember that. You know, when I was in the office, that there was that option. It was like, I send you a link, or you would get like a text or something, and then you just put your order in, and it goes with everybody else's order. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. Have a good afternoon. I'm gonna keep up on what's going on. If anything earth shattering comes up, I'll come back this evening and we'll talk about it. I'm gonna be watching the texts and I guess what comes up today. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit later tonight, like briefly about what's going on. So I'll be in touch. Okay. Girl, take this motherfucking spreadsheet. Okay. I'm like a reluctant Excel user. I love Excel and I don't mind putting together a spreadsheet when I have to. But baby, if I go to the time to put a spreadsheet together for you, please don't call and ask me a bunch of damn questions, because it's going to be detailed. Trust and believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not perfect or anything like that, but I'm going to give you all the information. Please don't call me. Okay? I am one of those. Like, I'm just not going to answer the phone because I'm off. Right? I'm on medical leave. If I'm on medical leave, baby, don't even bother, because I'm not answering the phone. I could be dead. And then guess what you're going to have to do? Figure it out. Okay? That's the one thing that you learn. I feel like being an HR person, I could be dead. Now go from there. Don't call people out on leave, out on vacation, any of that. Don't do that. I don't know how many times I've had to sit and talk to managers about, do not call employees when they're off. I don't care if they told you can call them. Don't call. Do not call people when they're off. They're off. We got to figure it out. That's it. That's the last resort. Anyway, let me let y'all go. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good evening. Bye, guys.